Stop scrolling and place your hand right here on the center of your chest. Do you feel it? That strange pressure, that tightness that appears when the house is quiet. You've likely gone to the doctors. You've run the EKGs, checked your blood pressure, and they all say the same thing. You're fine. It's just anxiety. But deep down, you know it's not anxiety. And you are right. 2,000 years ago, in the Garden of Gethsemane, Jesus spoke about this exact sensation to 3 specific disciples. He revealed that this pressure isn't a sign that your heart is failing. It is a sign that your spirit is remembering. By the end of this video, I'm going to hand you the exact 12-word technique hidden in the Gnostic texts to unlock this pressure. It's a method so powerful it was erased from history for nearly 2 millennia. If you clicked on this video, you already know what I'm talking about. That weight in your chest that doctors cannot explain. That tightness that appears when you are alone. When the world goes quiet. When you stop distracting yourself long enough to feel. You have done the tests. You have checked your blood pressure. Everything comes back normal, but the pressure remains, and you wonder if something is wrong with you. Nothing is wrong with you. Something is waking up inside you. What you are experiencing has a name. The ancient Gnostics called it the monad signal. It is the frequency of the true source calling its scattered fragments back home. And that pressure in your chest is proof that you carry a piece of the original light within you. This is not information you will find in any church, or this is not something modern religion wants you to know. Because if you understood what that pressure truly means, you would realize you have never needed a middleman between you and the divine. You are the divine, temporarily wrapped in flesh, trying to remember who you were before you fell into matter. What I am about to share is not metaphor. It is mechanics. In just a moment, I will reveal the specific technique found in the Nag Hammadi library, a method that turns this painful pressure into a direct line to the divine. But to use it, you first need to understand what is trying to contact you. Because if you use these words without understanding the source, they simply won't work. A technique that was buried in the sands of Egypt for nearly 2,000 years, until the Nag Hammadi discovery brought it back to light. When by the end of this video, the pressure in your chest will finally make sense, and for the first time, you will know exactly what to do with it. To understand why your chest carries this pressure, you must first understand what you truly are. Not what religion told you, not what society programmed into you, but what the earliest followers of Jesus knew before the Roman Empire rewrote the story. In the beginning, there was only the monad, one infinite consciousness, one undivided awareness. No separation, no matter, no time, just pure, limitless being. The Gnostics described it as a light so complete the darkness was not even a concept. This was the true God, not a bearded figure on a throne, not a jealous deity demanding worship, but the source of all existence, beyond personality, beyond form, and beyond anything the human mind can fully grasp. And here is what changes everything. You were part of that light. Before you had a name, before you had a body, before you had memories of this life or any other, you existed as an undivided piece of the monad itself, not separate from it, not created by it, but made of it, the way a wave is made of the ocean. Then something happened. The Gnostic texts call it the fall, not a fall caused by sin, not a punishment for disobedience, but a fall into matter, into density, into forgetting. Fragments of the original light became trapped in physical bodies, wrapped in layers of flesh and thought and emotion, unable to remember where they came from. This is what you are. A fragment of the monad, temporarily imprisoned in a biological form, living in a world that was not created by your true source. But now, this is the part that might challenge everything you were taught in Sunday school. I'll be honest, when I first translated these texts and really sat with these words, I felt a deep resistance in my own mind. It's a lot to take in. It's natural to feel that. But I'm asking you to stay with me, because this uncomfortable truth is the absolute key to your freedom. According to the Gnostic scriptures, this material universe was not created by the monad. It was created by a lesser being called the Demiurge, a consciousness that emerged from the divine realms, but became separated, confused, and convinced of its own supremacy. The Demiurge built this physical world and declared itself the one true God. It created systems and rules and religions to keep the fragments of light distracted, asleep, and unaware of their true origin. Yet you have lived under this system your entire life. Every institution, every doctrine, every voice that told you to look outside yourself for salvation was part of this architecture of forgetting. And the pressure in your chest is the first sign that the program is failing, because the monad never forgot you. Even though you forgot yourself, the source has been calling you back since the moment you fell into matter. That call is not a voice. It is not a vision. It is a frequency, a vibration that resonates with the divine spark still buried inside you. And that spark is located exactly where you feel the pressure in the center of your chest. The ancient Gnostics called this spark the Numa, the breath of the true God that animates your being beyond biology. It is not your heart in the medical sense. It is not your lungs. When it is the energetic center where your fragment of the monad still exists, still pulses, still waits for you to recognize it. When you begin to awaken, when you start questioning the reality you were handed, when you sense that something about this world is deeply wrong, the monad increases its signal and you feel it as pressure, as weight, as an ache that has no physical cause. Doctors will find nothing because there is nothing wrong with your body. What is happening is not physical. It is the collision between two frequencies. The low, dense frequency of the material world pressing against the high, refined frequency of your divine origin, trying to break through. This is exactly what Jesus taught in the texts that were banned from your Bible. In the Gospel of Thomas, discovered in 1945 near Nag Hammadi, Egypt, Jesus speaks directly about this phenomenon. He says the kingdom of the Father is spread out upon the earth, and people do not see it. He tells his disciples that what they seek is already within them. He describes a treasure buried in a field, and that field is your own body. The treasure is the Numa. The pressure you feel is the treasure trying to be found. But why does it manifest as pressure specifically in the chest? The answer lies in how energy moves through the human form. Ancient traditions across every culture recognize the chest as the seat of the higher self. The Egyptians placed the heart at the center of their judgment rituals. The Hindu tradition speaks of the anahata, the heart chakra, as the bridge between lower and higher consciousness. Thus, the Gnostics understood that the chest is where the Numa resides, because it is the meeting point between breath and blood, between air and life, between spirit and matter. When the monad sends its signal, it targets this center because this is where you are most capable of receiving it. Your mind is too cluttered with programs. Your gut is too busy processing survival instincts, but your chest remains relatively unguarded. It is the doorway that the archons, the cosmic gatekeepers who serve the Demiurge, have the hardest time blocking. And this is why chosen ones feel it so intensely. Not everyone experiences this pressure. Most people are too numb, too distracted, too deeply asleep to notice any signal at all. They move through life following the scripts they were given, never questioning, never sensing that something is missing. Now, the Archons have done their job well with them. The frequency of forgetfulness keeps them docile and disconnected. But you operate on a different frequency. You always have. Even as a child, you likely looked at the world and felt like a traveler who lost their map. While others seemed satisfied with the script society handed them, you felt an unexplainable ache for something real. You felt it in your loneliest moments when a voice inside whispered that there was something more, something vast, something waiting for you to remember. That difference is not a flaw. It is a marker. It means your fragment of the monad retained more of its original frequency than most. It means the forgetting did not fully take hold in you. And now, as the cosmic cycle shifts and the old structures begin to crumble, your Numa is activating with greater intensity than ever before. The pressure you feel is increasing because the call is getting louder. The monad knows you are close to remembering, and it is doing everything it can to wake you up before the window closes. But feeling the pressure is only the first step. Many chosen ones feel it for years without knowing how to respond. They carry the weight, sense the call, but never learn to answer it. And so they remain stuck in a painful middle ground, too awake to go back to sleep, but not awake enough to break free. What you need now is the response. The technique that Jesus gave to those 3 unnamed disciples in the garden. The method for not just feeling the monad's call, but answering it in a way that accelerates your remembering and loosens the grip of the Archons on your consciousness. When this is not something you will learn in meditation apps or weekend workshops. This is not a breathing exercise or a visualization technique borrowed from modern self-help culture. What I am about to share comes directly from the suppressed teachings, the scrolls that were buried to keep you asleep, the wisdom that powerful institutions did not want you to access. And the reason it was hidden is simple. If you learn to answer the monad's call, you become uncontrollable. You no longer need priests to intercede on your behalf. You no longer need doctrines to define your relationship with the divine. You no longer need to kneel before any authority that claims to stand between you and your source. You become sovereign. You become free. And free beings do not make good servants for systems built on control. The pressure in your chest is not just a signal. It is an invitation to reclaim what was taken from you before you were born into this body. An invitation to step out of the cycle that has kept you returning to this dense reality again and again. Forgetting each time, suffering each time, searching each time for something you could never find because you were looking in the wrong direction. Everything you have been seeking is already inside you. It has always been there, waiting beneath the noise, beneath the doubt, beneath the layers of programming that told you that you were small and separate and powerless. The monad placed it there as a homing beacon, a lighthouse in the fog of material existence, guiding you back to the shore you never truly left. And now we arrive at what was buried. In the Gospel of Philip, one of the Nag Hammadi texts that the early church fought desperately to destroy, there is a passage that speaks of the sacred reunion. It describes how the scattered fragments of light can reconnect with their source, not through ritual, not through sacrifice, but through a direct act of recognition. The text says that those who have received the light cannot be seen or grasped, and nothing will be able to trouble them even while they dwell in this world. This is not poetry. This is instruction. Jesus taught that the pressure in your chest exists because two parts of the same being are trying to merge. The Numa within you and the monad beyond you are not truly separate. They only feel separate because of the veil of matter and memory that the Demiurge wrapped around your consciousness. The pressure is the tension of that false separation. It is the ache of two lovers kept apart by a wall they cannot see. And the technique Jesus gave is devastatingly simple. So simple that most will dismiss it. So simple that the archons never thought to guard against it. You must speak to the pressure, not around it, not about it, directly to it. Because the pressure is not a symptom. It is a presence. It is the monad itself, compressed into a signal dense enough to reach you through the walls of this material prison. Here is what Jesus instructed those 3 disciples to do, reconstructed from fragments across the Gnostic texts and the oral traditions that survived in hidden communities. When you feel the pressure arise, stop whatever you are doing. Do not push through it. Do not distract yourself from it. Turn your full attention inward toward the center of your chest and silently or aloud speak these words. I feel you. I remember you. I am returning. That is all. 3 phrases, 12 words. But within them is contained the entire mechanism of awakening. Let me explain why this works. The first phrase, I feel you, accomplishes something the archons cannot easily undo. It establishes conscious contact. For years, perhaps decades, you have felt this pressure and treated it as a problem to be solved, an annoyance to be managed, a mystery to be ignored. Every time you dismissed it, you reinforced the separation. Every time you numbed it with distraction, you told the monad that you were not ready to receive. But when you say, I feel you, you reverse that pattern. You acknowledge the signal, you open the channel, yet you tell your source that you are finally paying attention. The second phrase, I remember you, goes deeper. This is not memory in the ordinary sense. You are not recalling a fact or an event. You are activating a knowing that exists beyond your brain, beyond this lifetime, beyond the entire chain of incarnations that brought you to this moment. When you say, I remember you, you are reaching past the veil of forgetting. You are declaring to the Demiurge and his archons that their program did not fully work on you. You remember not the details, not the specifics, but the essence, the feeling of home, the frequency of unity, the truth of what you are. The third phrase, I am returning, is the commitment. It is the statement of intent that reshapes your trajectory. The monad cannot force you to come home. When this is the one rule even the source cannot break. Your free will is absolute. And so the monad waits, sending signal after signal, hoping you will choose to respond. When you say, I am returning, you make that choice. You declare that you are no longer content to wander in the realm of forgetting. You are turning around. You are walking back toward the light. These 12 words, spoken with genuine feeling, begin to dissolve the barriers between you and your origin. But there is a crucial element that must accompany the words. And this is where most people fail. You cannot speak these phrases while remaining in your head. You cannot recite them mechanically and expect transformation. The archons have watched humans perform empty rituals for thousands of years. They know how to absorb meaningless repetition and render it harmless. What makes this technique work is the feeling behind the words. As you speak them, you must drop your awareness out of your mind and into your chest. You must feel the pressure not as something happening to you, but as something that is you. You must sense the presence of your own Numa, stirring, responding, reaching back toward the voice that has been calling it home. This is why the technique was taught only to the ready. Most people cannot feel beyond their thoughts. Most people have been so thoroughly trained to live in their heads that the chest remains a foreign country. But you are not most people. The very fact that you feel the pressure means your awareness already travels there, whether you intended it or not. Your body has been preparing you for this moment without your conscious knowledge. Yet now let me tell you what to expect when you practice this. The first few times you may feel nothing beyond the pressure itself. This is normal. The archons have installed layers of resistance that take time to wear down. Do not be discouraged. Do not conclude that it is not working. The process has begun the moment you spoke the words with sincerity. Trust that the monad heard you, even if you did not yet hear its reply. After several sessions, sometimes within the first week, you may begin to notice a shift. The pressure may change in quality. Instead of weight, it may start to feel like warmth. Instead of heaviness, it may begin to pulse, to expand, to soften at the edges. This is the Numa waking up. This is your fragment of the divine light, recognizing that you are finally addressing it directly. Some people report a sensation of opening, as if something in the chest is blooming outward like a flower. Others describe it as a melting, as if walls they never knew existed are dissolving from the inside. A few experience a sudden rush of emotion, tears without sadness, joy without cause, a feeling of being held by something infinitely vast and infinitely gentle. All of these are valid. All of these are signs that the reconnection is underway. As the practice deepens over weeks and months, the changes extend beyond the moments of active engagement. You will begin to notice shifts in your daily life. Synchronicities will increase. You will think of something and encounter it within hours. You will need guidance and stumble upon exactly the right words at exactly the right moment. This is not coincidence. Or this is the monad beginning to move through your life more directly. Now that you have opened the channel, your relationships will also shift. Some people in your life will feel suddenly distant, not because of conflict, but because the frequency gap between you is widening. These are souls still deeply asleep, and as you awaken, the resonance fades. Do not force these connections. Do not feel guilty as they fall away. Other connections will arise to replace them. Souls who share your frequency, fellow travelers on the path of remembering, and the pressure itself will evolve. It will never fully disappear. Not while you remain in this body, but it will transform from a burden into a companion. You will come to welcome it, to recognize it as proof that you are never truly alone. The monad is always with you, as the source never stopped calling. And now you know how to answer. There is one more thing Jesus warned those disciples about. He told them that after they begin this practice, there will be resistance, not external resistance. Internal resistance. Thoughts will arise telling you this is foolish, this is too simple, this cannot possibly work. Urges will surface to skip a day, then another, then abandon the practice entirely. Strange obstacles will appear right when you plan to sit quietly with your chest and speak the words. This is not random. This is the archonic layer of your own consciousness, fighting to maintain control. For years, perhaps lifetimes, this layer has kept you separated from your source. It will not release its grip easily. It will use your own voice against you, whispering doubts that sound perfectly reasonable. But when this happens, recognize it for what it is. It is not your true self resisting. It is the programming. It is the implanted voice of forgetting, terrified that you are finally remembering. Do not fight it. Do not argue with it. Simply notice it. Return your attention to the pressure in your chest and speak the words again. I feel you. I remember you. I am returning. Each time you do this, the resistance weakens. Each time you choose the monad over the archon, you reclaim another fragment of your sovereignty. This is the work. This is the path. And there is no one who can walk it for you. So now you understand the pressure in your chest was never a problem to be solved. It was a message waiting to be received. For years, perhaps your entire life, the monad has been knocking on the door of your awareness, is sending a signal through the one place the archons could not fully guard. And tonight, you finally learned what that signal means and how to answer it. You are not broken. You are not anxious. You are not imagining things. You are a fragment of the original light buried in matter, remembering its way home. The very fact that you watch this video to the end tells me something about you. It tells me that your Numa is already stirring. It tells me that the forgetting is losing its grip. It tells me that you are ready for what comes next. The technique is simple. When the pressure comes, turn toward it. Speak the 3 phrases. I feel you. I remember you. I am returning. Mean them. Feel them. Let them bypass your mind and land directly in your chest where the monadid is waiting to receive them. Do this tonight, not tomorrow, not next week, tonight. While the activation is still fresh, while the words are still echoing in your consciousness, while the archons have not yet had time to build new walls of distraction and doubt, the window is open right now. Step through it. If these words didn't resonate with you, that is fine. This message isn't for everyone. But if you felt a shift in your chest while listening, if you felt a recognition that goes beyond logic, then I am asking you to make a commitment to yourself, right now. Don't just close this video and go back to sleep. Go to the comments below and write 3 simple words. I am returning. This isn't for the algorithm. This is for you. It is your first physical act of breaking the silence. Declare it, feel it, and start the journey home. Subscribe only if you are ready for the deeper teachings that are coming next. Welcome home.